big map in the hallway?
No, Judge O did.
Did he? Yeah, we were checking that out.
The one that's framed back here in the hallway? Yeah.
Is it new?
No, it's been up there about a year.
Oh my God.
I'd say a year. I'm guessing 6 months to a year. No, a year.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Tarango, thank you for being available this morning. And Mr. Abuxia, I'm not sure which is our first case, Mr. Abuxia.
We're here for probation violations, right, Your Honor, or?
Yeah, it looks like it. And I don't think you've had a chance to talk to all of them, or what?
I've
Who's in the
briefly,
breakout room, Amanda?
No one is yet quite.
no one
Sounds
yet.
like nobody's there yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I did have just a brief opportunity to talk to Melody Vanderhyde on the phone just a second ago, but
Was she going to zoom in?
I believe she's on the line.
Okay. Is anybody on the Zoom for Melody Vanderhyde?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Vanderhyde, I see you now.
Oh, hi. Good morning.
You had a chance very briefly to talk to Mr. Abuxia. I'm Judge Sara Smolenski. Your
Good morning,
case
Your
out
Honor.
here, yeah, good morning. Your case out here has to do with a probation violation. When you were on probation way back for your drug-related charge out of our court,
Yes.
they're talking about you missed some opportunities to complete your probation successfully. They said that you tested positive for drugs during the time that you were on probation, which is a violation. They said you missed a couple of appointments with your probation officer, Ms. DeWinter. And they said there were a couple of times that you were asked to go and submit a test and that you failed to show up. Those are the areas that they're talking about are probation violations, Ms. Vanderhyde. Probation is a little bit like a pass-fail. You either pass probation or you fail it. Whether it's a little or a lot, it's just pass-fail. The decision that you need to make today is whether you believe you completed your probation successfully or not successfully. Because if you believe that you failed and didn't comply with everything, then I tell you what the continued penalty might be. If you think that you did complete everything and that you were successful, you'd have a right to have a hearing. And at the hearing, we'd determine whether you're in violation of your probation or not. Mr.
Okay,
Abuxia could represent you during your hearing. And if the probation,
I'm just now hearing you.
okay. So
Just-
you didn't hear me before?
No, I
that's,
did not.
That's a different defendant, I believe, Your Honor. That's Tabitha, I
Okay.
believe. Melody,
Yes,
you
this is
heard,
Tabitha.
Melody, you heard
Ms.
everything
Morris?
that the judge is saying, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Morris, we're not quite
Yes.
with you yet, so we're talking to somebody else.
Okay.
Just hang in there.
Yep.
So Ms. Vanderhyde, the whole point about a probation violation is either, you did okay or you didn't. And really what they're talking about here is having the probation officer present evidence to show if you missed any appointments, if you tested positive, if you didn't go to get tested, if you had a new criminal case, if you didn't pay your fines, whatever the areas are that they're alleging that you fell short. Now, can you think of any questions for me, Ms. Vanderhyde?
No.
Your case goes all the way back to 2 years ago, October of 2018. So you probably just want to get this thing over with, no doubt about it. What's going on right now? Are you on probation or parole to any court?
No, not.
Do you have any business with any other courts you're dealing with besides us?
Not in Michigan.
Not in Michigan, but other states?
I think yes.
Okay. Well, it's always a good idea to try to look into whatever you have going in any other courts, whether it's out of state or not, because you don't want anything hanging you up.
Right.
It's not really going to affect this. It's not really going to affect this. But if you do have business out of other courts, you ought to focus on getting that taken care of by writing them or calling them. Obviously,
Yeah.
with COVID, they're not having everybody travel, but you could definitely get a hold of them. I'm sure they're working just like we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go back to this case, and I know you got a chance to talk to Mr. Abuxia a little bit. Do you know how you want to go forward on the case, Ms. Vanderhyde? Do you want to admit the violation or do you want to deny the violation of a probation violation?
Admit.
Okay. What was the hardest thing for you to complete? What did it make so difficult for you to follow?
I was so gung ho about in beginning. I chose a therapist
Yep.
outside the courts, and it
Did it work out?
it did not work out.
Did
It
not work out? Okay. That happens sometimes and people go through that experience. How would that affect you showing up for your appointments with Angela DeWinter?
I felt ashamed.
You mean because you knew you failed from the beginning? Ashamed or
No,
ashamed of
from
being on drugs?
ashamed
Ashamed of being
that
addicted?
I was I
Well, I don't need you to bare your soul with me. I'm just trying to understand why you had such a hard time getting some stuff done here. Are you still having drug problems?
no, well, yes, still smoke weed. I'm
Yep,
not gonna lie.
right.
But
What do? Do you work?
I cut hair.
Uh-huh. How do you do that? Do you do that at your house? Do you do that at a
Yeah.
place?
I do that at my home.
Just at your home?
Yeah,
Do you have any kids you're responsible for?
no,
You're just on your own? You live alone?
yeah. Well, I'm actually just now in the middle of moving
Uh-huh,
back to Grand Rapids because I've been staying in Holland.
uh-huh. What's the reason for the move?
Oh, just to be more stable.
I see. Well, you've been engaged in therapy before where it did work, and then you got involved when it didn't work. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. DeWinter, what do you want to say?
Your Honor, originally, when this probation violation was written and set, it was supposed to be back in June of 2019.
Yeah,
So it's going back quite a
yeah,
ways.
it's a long time.
And she's been arrested on the bench warrant for failing to appear for the probation violation
Uh-huh.
4 times.
Yeah,
So, my stability is a main concern. It sounds like she may be getting that on track. It comes down to the original violation. I just lost track of her. I
Yeah.
couldn't locate her and connect with her, even get a hold of her, sent her things in the mail, attempted to call her. That's why the violation was written.
right.
Last I checked, she still had a balance of $145, so she did pay quite a bit.
Right now, the balance is 145?
I think I checked on that in September.
Okay,
She was arrested, so.
all right, I appreciate it.
But, I was recommending terminate probation and 20 days.
Right,
I have also, that last time she was arrested in August, she had new charges out of Kentwood from
Okay.
August. And prior to that, in January, new charges in Berry County.
so right now, Ms. Vanderhyde, where are your other cases? Do you have anything in Kentwood or Berrien County, or are those done?
No, I don't have anything.
Did you do any jail time on those cases?
No. I mean, they
Physically.
arrested me.
Right, I get it. Physically, is your health where it should be right now, or what? You look like you're not healthy. I'm not sure if that's a fair thing to say.
No,
And
I
I
feel
hear you
nervous.
breathing, I hear you breathing funny, and I'm wondering what that's about.
I'm just nervous, and
You're nervous.
I wear
Okay,
it.
fair enough. Fair enough. Do you have a support group? Like when you say you're moving back to Grand Rapids, is that going to be on your own, or are you living with other people, or what's going on?
I'm gonna rent out a basement, so it's gonna be on my own, but it's in the basement. I mean, there's a couple levels.
Yeah, I
but
get you. Okay, that's fine. No, that, if it works out, I hope it does. What's the deal with why this case has taken so long when you've had number of appointments way before COVID, way before COVID.
Right.
Why
'Cause I
have we
was-
had to do so many bench warrants for you on this case? Why did it feel like to me you dropped the ball entirely?
'Cause I was just ashamed of myself. I have a hard time dealing with that.
Yeah. Well, they're recommending 20 days in jail. That's not so great. That's not something you want to have to do. Here's the bottom line. It's a really old case, and I want to believe that you've been doing better, but you still got a long way to go. And if you don't take this seriously, this is going to be a huge, huge problem for you. Your involvement with drugs, your involvement with alcohol, your mental health issues. You can talk all you want about being ashamed and having a tough time dealing with it, but if you don't face this square on, this is going to win out. And you're going to continue to violate the law and you'll be locked up. That's what's going to happen. I'm not Houdini. I'm not Oprah. I'm not Dr. Phil. But you've got a dysfunctional lifestyle that if you don't make some serious adjustments to it, it's going to win out. And then you're going to have a miserable time. I'm not, I get 10 minutes to talk to you right now. I'm sure not going to fix anything with your life. You're the one that has to do it. There's $145 that's outstanding. To that, I'm adding a $400 civil contempt fine, which is going to bring your total to $545. I'm going to terminate your probation and I'm not going to give you jail. But this has to be paid by the end of the year, $545. If it's not paid in the next 8 weeks, it's pretty much 8 weeks from now. If it's not paid, then you do the jail time. Do you understand how that works?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Don't overlook this. I don't know what kind of calendar you keep or how you keep your appointments, but you can't forget about this because if you do, this is going to cost you big time, not financially, but going to jail. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for right now, Ms. Vanderhyde. Thank you for your courtesy.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, Ms. Morris, I've got your file. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
When you had your original arrest, it went back to a case that you had on the date of December 5 of the year 2018. You got
Correct.
charged with drunk driving. And honestly, we've had you at our court a few different times since then. And even since COVID hit us, we've had you try to zoom in a couple of times. And sometimes your zoom in was not at the right time or you got disconnected or whatever. But you're before the court now because they're alleging that you had a probation violation while you were on probation for that drunk driving case.
Yep.
And they're
that's correct.
talking about the probation violation where you failed to follow through with everything that you were supposed to be doing. Probation is like a pass-fail, Ms. Tabitha Morris.
Right.
It's like you either pass everything or you don't. Here
Right.
they said you owe a ton of money and it's still outstanding. Over $1,200 is still outstanding. They're saying you did a lot of your community service, but not all of it.
Right.
You did probably 2/3 of it, which was good, but they're saying you fell short with the balance still left to do. They
Well,
said that
and
you did a fair amount of probation counseling, 33 days of inpatient treatment,
That's correct.
and then they wanted you to do some outpatient treatment. And they said you didn't follow through with that. They said on several occasions, I'll let you talk in a second.
Okay.
They said on several occasions you tested positive for drugs when you were asked not to have anything whatsoever in your system. And they said that you completely failed to show up for appointments on a few occasions to even be tested with your blood, urine, mostly urine. A couple occasions, they thought the specimen you gave was diluted, but I'm not sure if that's even a focus right now.
Right.
It's just any of the areas that they're claiming are a violation. So with the violation, you can either admit it or deny it. Now, seriously,
I will admit it.
okay, I appreciate it. I don't know if it's possible for you to just put the cigarette down for a minute, because like if you were in my courtroom, I doubt if you'd be
Oh,
smoking,
sorry.
right? No, but I mean, it's just, Zoom is a lot of things, but we try to keep some decorum
Right.
going. Having
I
said
can't
that,
see you,
if
so
you,
I don't,
if you,
I don't know what's going on
okay,
with this, but
I can see you, and that's why I said it, but if you admit it, it's moving into the penalty phase of what's the penalty on this case. And
Right.
your probation officer is here and she can speak too. But
Right.
why don't you tell me if you're serious about admitting it? And I don't know, Mr. Abuxia, if you've talked to Ms. Morris, if you want to talk to Ms. Morris?
I have not had an opportunity yet to talk to Ms. Morris. I am here.
Well, let me just, yep. Let
if
me
she would
just
like
ask Ms. Morris this. Ms. Morris, we
Yeah.
have attorneys standing by if people want to talk to them, but my point is, if you admit this, and then we talk about what problems there were with it, and you can be open and honest about that, and then
Okay.
I'll let Ms. DeWinter speak too, and she'll tell us her thoughts on it. But if you
Okay.
admit it on your own right now, it's pretty much just you and me talking. I mean, Ms.
I would
DeWinter
rather
will
just
speak.
do that.
That's fine. And all I'm saying is you won't have an attorney and we'll move forward on this case. Do you
Okay.
have anything else right now in any other courts that's holding you up?
No, I do not, but I do want
Just
to say
this.
something like on my
You'll be able
behalf.
to. Go ahead.
Um, uh, actually, Angela, she violated me on the 20th, and before that, I actually decided to seek out help for myself, and so I've been going to like alcohol prevention class with Caven Hunt at Reality Counseling. He invited me
Good.
to do that. He said, well, I went there, previously, but he kind of made an impact on me. So I've also been going to Zoom meetings every day. And, I'm just really trying to get my life in order. I did go through kind of a situation for a minute, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but that was my reason for relapse. So, I'm trying to build a foundation and get my life back on track. I am working. I work full time.
Where?
I work at Holland Special Delivery.
Okay. Do you have any kids that you're responsible for?
That was like kind of the reason for my relapse because when I was in rehab, as you know, um, it's kind of a weird situation, but um, my son's sister took custody over him. So I'm going through like a custody battle, and I don't know, it's really been a struggle. But
Yeah. Is it
I'm
just the son that you're dealing with?
just my son, yes, and his dad
And
passed
how old
away.
is he?
So he's 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
anyways, I'm getting through it, and I really need him back in my life, and
Is he
yeah,
living with her now?
he is with her, yes.
Uh-huh. And the court
Yep.
is involved.
The court is involved, yes.
And your job full-time you've had for quite a while?
Well, this particular job, not that long. I was working at Amazon, and then I kind of like switched jobs, but yes,
So what is creating difficulty for you to just start paying money on this or even sending anything else? How come there's been no payments?
well, I did write you, in fact, and I've been working it off like since the COVID, like doing
Uh-huh.
like the kids' food basket bags. And so I turned in like 500 bags, which is 25 hours of community service. I think I'm only have like maybe 65 or 70, something like that left.
I'm
Um,
wondering about the payments to the court.
I think in total, from what I gathered from Angela, like I physically owe like 300 and some dollars. The rest of it I was working off towards community service.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna have Ms. DeWinter speak a minute.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. DeWinter.
Your Honor, she had, she
Speak
did,
right up so she can hear you.
she did indeed write to you, about doing community service for that, but she has not finished her court-ordered community service hours yet. So the hours technically.
Well, the monies aren't affected yet because the community service hasn't handled the original community service.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And my concern, I mean, the first time that we violated her and she came in front of you, she had 12 positive tests at that point, and she came in here, you know, with the information that she was going to the Freedom House, and indeed she did, and she completed 33 days there. They had a great aftercare program for her, mainly set up through Arbor Circle and the FET program. She was discharged from that after 6 weeks for noncompliance. During that time, she was very evasive with me on what she was completing, what she was involved in when she was going to give me the proof and verification of it. If you look, I'm trying to count these tests up, but since then, and you know, I do understand and can empathize with her about her relapse, but she continuously tested positive.
Right.
And during this time, she was telling me that she was doing what she's telling you she's doing right now, attending AA, attending counseling. I
Okay.
have serious concerns that anything outside a jail setting or a treatment setting, an inpatient treatment setting, she's at high risk for reoffense. She's been in significant denial and minimization of what she
Right.
has going on.
Okay. Ms. Morris, tell me as it relates to it, when you got into Freedom House, how did you get that taken care of? How did you get in Freedom House? How did it get paid for? I'm not hearing you if you're talking.
Which one, the Network 180, Your Honor?
Ms. Morris, can you hear me?
She muted herself.
You muted yourself.
I'm asking her to unmute.
You got to
Can you hear me?
unmute yourself. Yeah,
can
now
you
it's
hear me?
better. Now, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
You were muted, so we couldn't hear you. When you
Oh,
went to
okay.
Freedom House, wasn't it through Network 180?
Yep, I did go to Network 180 originally, yes. And that is how I got in and, you know, had the Medicaid insurance. So, yeah.
The work that you're doing right now, do you go into a plant or are you working from home?
I go into a plant.
Uh-huh. What did you expect was going to happen today, seriously?
You know, I really
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's got to have been wearing on you.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I couldn't even
And
sleep last night.
a direct impact on what happens with your son?
Yes, definitely. And especially since I'm going through the custody battle, you know, with him, you know, everything's just been really weighing on me. That's why I decided to start building a foundation and, you know, just get myself back in order, back on track. I actually have like a really good support system. So I'm really trying to work through it.
Who's the Freedom House representative that you still have any connection with? Are you dealing with anybody from them or the aftercare program?
No, and what I was going to say is Arbor Circle, they actually dropped me because I didn't have physical and legal custody over my son. So they said that they couldn't do it anymore. Although I do have to say that I've been checking into their like IOP program because they're actually the only place that offers it right now with the COVID and stuff like that. So I'm waiting to do like an intake with them.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen as it relates to it, but you need some intensive treatment. And if you don't get it, you'll
Definitely.
never get your son back. If that's your
Right.
motive, if that's your focus to get your
It
son
is.
back, it's
Yeah.
never going to happen until you get yourself clean
Right.
and proven to be clean. You're saying a lot of the right things right now, but it's not panning out. in what you've accomplished.
Right.
And
I
so
just
I'm dealing
gotta
with a
follow
case
through.
that's 2 years old. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be followed through, no doubt about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
But right
sure.
now, the recommendation is to terminate your probation and give you 45 days of jail.
Right.
That's not really going to do what we need you to do. What I'm going to do right here is I'm going to do this. I'm terminating your probation, but I'm going to ask you to get verification of an in-treatment or an intensive treatment program
Okay.
where I'm not saying it has to be inpatient, but intensive
Right.
with a plan more than what you're doing right now. I
Okay.
need to know that you're going to be getting yourself into an intensive treatment plan or program. That's why I was asking about Freedom House or the aftercare program or what else would be available. I'm not clear. I'm
Right.
intending right now to give you 20 days at the Kent County Jail, not the 45. However, I'm not going to have you report. I'm putting this off for 30 days, which may or may not be helpful to you. To be honest with you, I don't know. I want to know what treatment plan you're getting into,
Okay.
and I have to know it within the 30 days.
Okay.
Because 30 days from today would be November 12.
Right.
I'm just saying 30 days out to start
Yeah.
serving the 20 days at the Kent County Jail. If I knew that you were in a program that was going to be intensive treatment and you were accepted and you were in it, I would look at weekends potentially so you don't
Okay.
lose your job.
Right.
But I'm not entirely clear because so far from our perspective, it looks like things have been dropped. You started doing stuff, you started working on stuff, but it was dropped. Now the monies are still owed. So while
Right.
you've done a lot of community service, not yet to the mark of what was ordered originally, I'm done with that. I'm not going to have you do the remaining 40 hours or whatever it is. But the monies
Okay.
that you're outstanding on this case, they don't get wiped out. I'm showing right now $1,211. It's a huge amount of money. I'm not saying it's not.
Right.
But I will deal with the money as it comes. We'll work out a payment plan with you or whatever has to happen. The
Okay.
focal point should be a treatment program that you're accepted in and that you go to faithfully.
Okay. So can I ask you, because like I said, I've been in contact again with Arbor Circle. It's actually like a 5-week program.
Right?
And so if I
Yeah,
do the
if they accept you and we get documentation on that, that would do it, but I need to see it from them.
okay.
Not
Okay.
just the acceptance, but the completion as well.
All right.
Because I'm choosing not to go the whole 45 days, giving you one last opportunity, and you've probably had five
And I appreciate that.
chances already.
Yes.
So it's not like 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. We've probably gone
Right.
5 or 6 times on this already, but this
Right.
is it.
Okay.
All right, just so that you know that, Ms. Morris, we'll be in contact with you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Bye.
All right, sir, with the Stylo 5, is that Mr. Mortimer?
No, Your Honor, that's Mr. Kenyon, Jerry Lee Kenyon.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Kenyon, ready for the sentencing today. Okay. Mr. Kenyon, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thanks for waiting. I'm Judge Sara Smolenski. This was the case that goes back to November 17 last year. I think of it as the Davenport College kid, the Davenport College football player. Does it ring a bell?
Yes.
And I want to get a feel for your thoughts regarding this case. It must have been just horrific.
Yeah.
I had a case very similar to it on Alden Nash, and the woman lost both legs and was killed. In this case, I wasn't sure if that kid was going to lose his leg pushing a car that ran out of gas. I take it you never saw him.
Well, like I said, I just took my eyes off the road for a second and then bam.
That's all it takes, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if this wasn't a case that was ripe for a fatality, the whole time I read this case, I thought, how fortunate this wasn't a fatality. I mean, think about it. You have a lot, haven't you? Thought about this?
Yes, I have.
You know it's going to cost you your driver's license.
Yep. It's already been suspended.
Can you think of anything else that you want to say? Mr. Abuxia is here. He's going to say a few things.
Yes, just briefly, Your Honor, in conversations with Mr. Kenyon, this is something that he has thought about quite a bit. And I think he realizes, that things definitely could have happened differently. He most certainly realizes that anything can happen in a blink of an eye, a split second. And so I know that this is something he's thought about for a while. Feels terrible. Words can't describe what he's feeling. I would say, from my end of it, this is, you look at cases and sentencings that are, to fit the crime. And this is certainly one of those cases where I don't feel any jail is going to help anything.
Right.
And it's also, to go a little further, it's one of those cases where, even probation and oversight from a probation department, you think about it, Mr. Kenyon just turned 46 years old. He just had a birthday. No trouble, is working full time. And, even putting probation on it, I would ask for a non-reporting type if the court found that probation was necessary. Of course, his license being lost is going to be the biggest impact to him for job purposes. It was something that he did use for his career. And so I would ask for leniency as far as fines and costs go as well.
All right, I appreciate it. Do you know, Mr. Abuxia, whether there's a civil lawsuit pending or what's happening on the civil side of this?
I have not heard anything on that yet. Mr. Kenyon, do you care to weigh in on that? Is there any civil lawsuit that you know of, or insurance handling that?
As far as I know, my insurance is handling it. I haven't heard anything more about it.
Yeah. Well, I contacted the detective that was in charge of the case this past week just to inquire what he knew about the young man's recovery. And I was so pleased to hear that he did not have to have his leg amputated. Did you know that?
No, I did not, thank God.
Yeah, he never had his leg amputated. It was more, sounded like more miraculous than anything else. Because at one point, at the time of the incident, they were saying it was upwards of 70% chance that he would lose that leg. I'm just saying that it takes a split second. You were going to pick up somebody from work?
Yes, I was going to
At
my
Steelcase, a Steelcase worker?
No, I'm not a Steelcase. I work for EnviroClean. One of our accounts there, I was at the time and stuff, was cleaning the restrooms at the building and stuff. Like I said, I got a phone call saying that her vehicle broke down.
Yeah.
And I was going to go pick her up with our company car when I went to the office.
Right. Okay, well, I don't know what the civil side of it is, and if insurance covers everything. They try to put that person back in the position they would have been in had it never happened. This is a 93-day suspended jail sentence. 93 days suspended means you do not serve jail time now. If you violate the law or get arrested, then you would get a jail. I did put down non-reporting probation, Mr. Abuxia, already, so I guess we were thinking alike on that. It's a 6-month non-reporting probation, Mr. Kenyon, where you won't be coming into the court or contacting the court regularly, but we will monitor that in the next 6 months, starting now till April of next year, that you're not involved in any criminal cases or any driving violations at all. It's a $500 fine, a $180 fee for probation at $30 a month times 6, and a $75 crime victims' right fee, standard in every one of these cases. There's a $200 court-appointed attorney fee. Hold on one second, yes.
I will be his assigned probation officer, so if that helps, we.
Okay. Nicole Brown will be the assigned probation officer on it, although we've indicated it's non-reporting. But that's the person that you'd want to contact if you had any questions, is Nicole Brown. The Secretary of State has already taken action against your driving privileges, so that will be taken. There's a $200 court-appointed attorney fee, so the total is $955 to our court. And you're going to set up a payment plan, Mr. Kenyon, for that $955. Now, questions that you can think of for me, Mr. Kenyon?
No. Are you just one? Are you going to send me the information? Because with this COVID
Yes.
stuff,
Everything
come
will
in-
be mailed to you. What I've just indicated in the lists of what you need to do will be mailed to you. And we're
Okay.
sending everything to the Elm Street address in Lowell. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, that's still correct. Okay. All right, thank you for your courtesy. I appreciate it. You can disconnect.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Abuxia. Amanda, who else is in the Zoom room?
There's no one else that's ready.
We
Okay,
should
let's put
have-
some of the non-shows, we'll put some of the non-appearances on the record that we had. Go ahead, Mr. Abuxia.
I was just going to say, I believe we have a jail sentencing for Rodney King, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll be ready when they hook up.
Okay.
On Adam Mortimer, it's D20-00968SM.
He should be in custody, or.
He's in custody, Ms. Brown? Okay, we'll wait on that one then. Scott Pellini, he's in custody as well?
He's not.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
So on the Pellini case, it's D19-02101 SD. This was with probation officer Angela DeWinter. And it looks like Mr. Pellini was scheduled for a probation violation this morning at 8:15. It's now 5 after 9 on October 12. He's not appeared or contacted the court. Anything else that you wanted to say at all, Ms. DeWinter?
Your Honor, he has 3 current cases that I'm violating on. One was the original, and then
Wow, he's got 3 current cases. In addition to the drunk driving, he has a domestic violence and an assaulting an officer disorderly drunk. Those other cases are D19-03965 and D20-01576FY. It could be the volume of the cases alone that caused him to stay away. I don't know. Amanda, do you have a big rubber band? So what I'd like to do on the Scott Pellini cases is order a bench warrant for his non-appearance, and we'll do it as $1,000 cash on each of the 3. Did you get it, Amanda? Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right, now did you see that the jail's hooked up or not yet?